Hey, what's up guys, One Out the Tiger here, and I am bringing you some PlayStation 2 gameplay. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to put a little annotation here. If you want to skip this entire intro, go ahead and do so now, and I'll catch you on the other side, because I'm not going to talk during this introduction.
15 years ago, there was a war. Well, war's broken out here plenty of times before. They've tried to invade the Southlands through the Northern Valley time and time again. Luck was never on their side, though, and their victories didn't last long. They didn't realize that times had changed. Facing one defeat after another, losing territory and watching their nation dwindle, they built up their industrial strength to unprecedented heights and used it to wage one final battle against the world. That was 15 years ago. They fought ferociously, but were utterly defeated. The Belkans then committed the unthinkable. They used nuclear weapons on their own soil. Seeing this tragedy unfold before their own eyes, the victorious countries vowed to throw down their weapons. The world was once again at peace, and thanks to them, it seemed it would last forever. On a distant island, far away from civilization, the protectors of the peace take to the skies. Red alert! I was in the sky, trying to get the training team in my viewfinder from the rear seat of the lead plane. My pilot in the front seat was howling at the earth below.
Give me a break. I'm babysitting nuggets up here. Command room to Wardog Squadron. We have leakers, aircraft type unknown. Crossing the border at Cape Landers, bearing 278 to 302. Captain Bartlett, your flight is the only group close enough to make the intercept. Baker, sense it. Go trail and stay close. The three of us will go hide and teach the bandits. All other aircraft stay low and out of the fight.
The world turned upside down, and my stomach turned inside out.
Sorry about this.
The captain's apology to me seemed misplaced. One instructor had survived the fight, but crashed on landing. The other one was killed in action high up in the clouds. It wasn't his fault that the unidentified aircraft fired on us without warning. Nor was it his fault that the low-altitude area where he sent his trainees was directly in front of the enemy. 8 people died because the command room had misplaced some zeros. That pilot in the number 7 was amazing. Did you see her fight back?
I couldn't bear to watch. Nagase, you keep flying like that and you'll die real soon.
I won't die, sir.
The only surviving trainee's voice was almost a whisper.
Are you sure? You look like you couldn't hurt a fly.
Her face was pale, but she still managed to smile a bit for the camera. The photo, along with my camera, was confiscated by base security. It was as if our little undeclared war never happened. I came to cover this remote island because I heard that a very unique squadron leader was stationed here. I didn't realize he was this unique, though. This bad-mouthed, good-natured old firebrand could take the greenest of rookies and forge him into a fearsome fighter pilot. Of course, that possibility vanished with the day's encounter. The only crew he had left now were Second Lieutenant Nagase and the few pilots that happened to be on the ground that day.
I know you don't like this, but we're short on people. Starting tomorrow, all you nuggets are gonna be sitting alert. If we launch, stay glued to me up there. Nagase?
Sir.
You're flying number 2 on my wing. Gotta keep an eye on you, or who knows what you'll get yourself into.
At ease, people. But don't get too comfortable. It's a grave situation for all of us right now. Let's get this briefing started.
Another aircraft of unknown origin has entered Ocean Federation airspace. We have confirmed the target type as a strategic recon plane flying at very high altitude. Despite our repeated warnings, it continued to penetrate our ADIS and was fired upon by Ocean Coastal Defense Force SAMs. We believe one of our SAMs damaged the unknown plane, but did not destroy it. Radar shows that the aircraft is currently losing altitude and is attempting to egress feet wet towards the ocean. Intercept this target and force it to land for identification. Do not fire upon this aircraft until further orders are transmitted.
Alright guys, welcome back. And let me just start off by saying this game, Ace Combat 5, is one of my favorite games ever. Ever. I've played this game so much, it's ridiculous how much I've played this game. It's one of the only games that I've played through countless times. You know, I was talking with Chris Kakalaki Camper a while ago, and he said he had played through Mass Effect 1 a bunch of times, and I've never had a game besides this one. There's a couple of games that I want to bring you guys. They're PlayStation 2 games. There's Ace Combat 5. There's Ace Combat 0, which is the Balkan War, the war that precedes this war, and then there is Winback. I don't know if you guys have ever played Winback, but I love that game. That's another game that I have played so much, it's not even ridiculous. But it's been a couple years since I played these games, or even that I've busted out my PlayStation 2. But with the PSN being down, I figured, what the hell? I mean, I can't bring any online gameplay, so I might as well bring you some classics. So maybe I'll call these classics or something, like a playlist of classics. So anyways, I want to talk about kind of a controversial topic, because I was just watching CNN a minute ago, and I had this argument yesterday with my mom about the whole birther thing. So if you guys have been paying attention to the news, Donald Trump has been talking about how President Obama is not a U.S. citizen. He doesn't have a certificate of a birth certificate. He's got a certificate of live birth, which in his opinion is not the same. And I don't really watch much news. I guess I should preface this before I get into it too far that I'm not a conservative and I'm not a liberal. I'm very moderate in my views. But as a historian, I'm noticing that there's this trend that's been going on since President Obama's first 100 days in office, and then he's faced a lot of adversity that I don't think other presidents would have faced, especially if McCain was president. I'm pretty sure nobody's going to be asking for his birth certificate. I really honestly think that it has a lot to do with the fact that he's a black guy, to be honest. I don't think this country has evolved past the point of racism. And I hate to say that, because I really think that our country is the best country in the world, and that's just me being patriotic. Of course, if you're from England or Canada or Japan or anywhere around the world, you're going to think that your country is the best. So I just, my personal belief is that we've got the best country in the world, and I believe in the process. And that's something that I don't think the birthers believe in. They don't believe in the process, because you can't become president unless you're born in the United States. And so the whole idea is that he was born in Kenya. They think he was born in Kenya. And here they have this certificate of live birth, which they don't think is the same as a birth certificate. But anyways, like I was saying, is Anderson Cooper on his show took a guy down who was born 13 hours after President Obama was born, and they asked for his birth certificate from the Administration of Health. And what they gave him was a short form they called Certificate of Live Birth, and it states very plainly on the document and they did this all on camera, very plainly on the document, that short certificate of birth is used for every single law proceedings or whatever. It said it's valid at a court of law, and that's how you get a driver's license. That's how you get everything you need to get, officially to identify yourself as an American citizen. That's what you'd use. And so the guy who's doing reporting for Anderson Cooper had mentioned that if this short certificate of live birth does not state that he's a citizen of the United States, then everybody in Hawaii, therefore, is not a citizen of the United States because they don't have a birth certificate. So it's just this stuff that, and then the whole notion that the president has spent millions of dollars to cover it up. It's retarded. I don't understand how people can think that way. And there's people who think that we never landed on the moon. So they're out there. But what I was going to say is that the idea is they say that he can make this all go away by releasing his birth certificate. The long form, the one that takes like 3 weeks to get in the mail from Hawaii because you have to sign a Freedom of Information Act. And then it takes, a whole bunch of time and people and man hours. And then, of course, out of the two documents, it's not the one they want to use for official business. So they want to use a short form. So it really wouldn't make any sense. He's already got that form. But this is my point that I'm going to make for this right here, is just that he doesn't have to. He shouldn't have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is born in the United States, because I bet you they had, when they went to qualify everyone to make sure that they're legal to run for president, they probably went over that. I have no doubt in my mind that somewhere along the process, obviously I haven't gone through it, but I bet you somewhere down the line, they say, hey, we need to see this information, we need to prove that the Democratic Party probably went through and said we need to see a birth certificate or some sort of document saying that you were born in this country, and he did that, and therefore he was allowed to run for president because of the fact that he showed that proof already. So it's just, I honestly think it's because he's, African American. And the fact that he's got a Muslim last name, it's, and then that's another thing that I want to know. Why is it bad? If he was to turn out to be Muslim, what's so bad about that? I know people were like, oh, well, he's going to be a puppet of the Ayatollah. They said the same thing about Kennedy, that he was going to be a puppet of the Pope because he's Roman Catholic. And that did not turn out to be the case. So I don't know. I've got these things in my head. It's very controversial. People are going to believe what they want to believe, but it's just ridiculous the amount of adversity this guy is facing. And he's our president. It's just these people are looking forward to the next election, and I really wish they'd work on making this country better. So, anyways, guys, I'm sorry this turned into a political commentary. I really didn't want it to be. I actually want to talk about the game a little bit, and so maybe next time I'll tell you about my Ace Combat flight experience and all this stuff, and maybe I'll show you guys what I've got for these controls, because I picked up this whole big box set, when I was buying this game. It was really cool. So, anyways, guys, that is this first mission called Shorebirds, and I was flying with the F5, I believe it is, and you don't get other birds until later. So, anyways, we'll progress to that. So, talk to you guys later.